Hey everybody, welcome back to East Coast Outside Adventures, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about all this stuff behind me. It's just different types of insulation for different types of year, location dependent. So I'm just going to get right into it. First thing is this. It's just a lightweight closed cell foam pad. As you can see, it's blue on the outside, and on the inside when it's rolled out, I'll roll a little bit out so you can see. When it's rolled out, sorry to you, it's rolled out, you see it's got some reflectix on it. So what this does, it reflects body heat back onto you when you're laying down. So it doesn't offer much insulation, but it does offer a barrier between you and the cold ground. So typical use for this, I would use this probably late spring. Well, actually, yeah, I'd use it late spring, early summer, cold, not cold, but cool, damp days. Like, say if it's like, like real damp, cloudy, if it rained, a couple days beforehand, the ground's still a little bit wet, and you're sleeping in a tent, I would definitely use one of these. So, if I'm sleeping in an open shelter, I would use, let me see, what would I use? I'd use a tarp for a ground sheet. I would use either this, or I would use my Climate Sleep Pad. It's rated for summer months, but yeah, so I'd use my Climate Sleep Pad or this, like late springtime, early summer. I'd use it if I'm sleeping in a tent. I'd use it in the summertime, springtime, early fall. So yeah. So that being said, this somewhat explained the best that I can do. I'm going to get right on to the next one. Let me see. Well, you've seen this a time or two on my channel. My wool blanket. Actually, I have two. Technically, I have three wool blankets, but one's up here on this bed, just bed covering and all that stuff. But anyways, I have two wool blankets. This one I used to cover up with. That's a given. Move this out of the way for a second. This one here I used to cover up with. It is quite long. I do lift up my feet and it folds down. I can tuck my feet or tuck the blanket underneath my feet to keep the cool breeze off of my feet. It is quite large. It is quite heavy. So if I'm using this in, say, fall, very early winter, or late spring. No, not late spring. I'd say early spring, about mid-spring. I'd use this in an open shelter. The way I'd take this here if I was going car camping, or truck camping, or ATV camping, which I do quite often on my ATV. It's my only means of transportation. So, but anyways, get this out of the way. On to this one. This one here, I do have in a different way. I have this sewn up like an envelope sleeping bag. I just don't have a zipper or any way to close it up. Once I'm in, it's already closed. It's open at one end. I have used this before I started my channel and while I was on it. well, I have, but anyways, I took my Climate sleep pad, I unrolled this, unfolded it, I blew up my sleep pad, and I shoved my sleeping pad in this so I wouldn't puncture, excuse me, so I wouldn't puncture my sleep pad. I laid on it, it was comfortable, it was warm, and I used my wool blanket to cover up with, and I was sleeping in open tarp shelter. I pinned it to the ground, pinned it to a stick in the ground, and everything, and got it all out, pulled it all back, so I had the maximum amount of room. I slept on this here, and it was really comfortable. I also did this in my my video, I did my open tarp shelter in the heavy rain. If I figure it out, I'll link that into the description below. If I can figure it out, I'll do that. I'll have to play around with it a little bit, but yeah, I'll get onto this one here, or sorry, move off to this one here, and I'll get right on to another one. All right, everybody, the next one. Let me see. I did my 2 wool blankets. I did my my closed cell foam pad for spring, summer, early fall, whatever you want to use it for. Let me see. I think I'm going to move on to hammock camping. So I don't have a hammock up here for demonstrational purposes, but you'll kind of get what I'm going for here. Right here, I have a One Tigress underquilt. And if I remember correctly, I think this one here is the Twilight Trekker. I'll just take it out of the bag here. The nice, lovely stuff sack. Yeah, this is the Twilight Trekker. One of my bands ripped on it, so that's how I know. Just give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Now, this Twilight Trekker is asymmetrical. Well, yeah. It's basically, you fold it in half and you have two of the same. So, one thing about this, get it unfolded here, is if you notice right here and here and here, all around it, it does have shock cords going around the whole perimeter. I'm sorry, around the whole outside. Excuse me. It has shock cords go around the whole outside of the underquilt. This is so, take it, you pin it up on your hammock. You can take it, same thing to the other end. What the shock cord does for you, being on your hammock like that, it creates a pocket of warm air underneath of you. If you like toss and turn at nighttime, like I sometimes do, the shock cord, the way it's designed, lets the underquilt move with you instead of being stationary in one spot. And so it doesn't like rip it or tear it or anything like that. It does allow the underquilt to move with you, as I just said. So you can tell it moves flawlessly. So if you're going hammock camping in the summertime, one underquilt will do, as you don't need it. I take it and I put it on to save from the mosquitoes from biting my butt all night. So another thing with these underquilts is you can also use them as just a normal blanket if you so wish. Take two underquilts in your hammock. You put one underneath of you, and you can use, well, generally use this one here for a top quilt. It is long enough. It's made for a double hammock, I think. Yeah, I'd say it's made for a double hammock. So the temperature rating for this, find it here, from 5 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. I don't believe that. So in the wintertime, I used, well, in the early winter, it was like -10. I used 2 of these underquilts, and I used a sleeping bag, and I was toasty warm. Now, saying that, I'm not saying go out, -10 degrees with these here two, with 2 underquilts and a sleeping bag, and you'll be warm, because in some cases, depending on location, you will not. You will freeze. Believe me, I've been there. So I'm going to put this back in the bag, and I'm going to talk about you know what? No, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to set it down here. I'm going to grab this. This is another underquilt. This is made for a single hammock, but can be used with a double. So from here, I'm going to say the temperature rating is the same, 5 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. So, but yeah, this one here, it's just a, just an off-brand underquilt. It's made identical to the one Tigris ones. Yeah, this is more so for a single hammock. So what I would do is I would take this one and put it underneath my hammock, and take this Twilight Trekker here and put that over top of this one, basically creating a double barrier, like so. Yeah, like so. And that would keep your butt warm in the mid to late fall, very early winter. As is right now, it's November 20 something. I can't remember the date, but we are nearing the end of November. So I would use, typically myself, being not so much an experienced hammock camper, but a knowledgeable one for weather-wise, I would use possibly 3 underquilts. So, like I said, the weather depending and location dependent, I would use 3 of these covered in by my tarp. So I'm going to put this one over here. Now, I'm not going to take this one out, I'm just going to show you. This one here is another off-brand made by Barbarian. It's made the similar way as the one Tigris ones or these other off-brands. The temperature rating for this one here, there's no tag on it stating so, but it's around the same visit between 5 to 20 degrees Celsius. So, but I would, if it's like -10, -15, I'd use these 3 underquilts. I'd use this one, my Twilight Trekker, and the other off-brand one. I'd use those 3. I would definitely keep my butt warm, because you're creating 3 pockets of warm air for your body to stay warm underneath. So minus 10, minus 15, I'd use 300. Minus 15, I'd definitely use 300 quilts. So that being said, I have another piece of Wooden Tiger's gear. This is called the Rock Poncho. This is one of the more versatile pieces of insulation that I have. So I'm going to take this out of the bag and I'll let you guys have a look. Alright guys, I got the poncho out of the bag. Right now I have it zipped up like a sleeping bag. So as I said, this is one of my more versatile pieces of gear that I have. I say right now I do have it zipped up like a sleeping bag. You can tell I got the end cinch closed. It is, you know, between 5 and 20 degrees Celsius, same as any other. It is. I should mention though that all my underquilts and this poncho are all synthetic filled, so it doesn't really offer a lot of heat, but it does create warm pockets of air to keep your body warm. So back to my poncho. I know it's a little wrinkled. It's been in the stuff sack for a while. So another thing you can do with this is you can leave the end cinch closed like so. Leave the end zippered up. Well, that end anyway. You can unzip this end. It's a little tricky because these little tabs here. You can unzip it like so. Without getting your tabs caught. Zip it down so far. Maybe you want a little clip and cinch it closed so the zipper won't go any further. Like so. Which creates, from here down, creates a little foot box. So what you can do is flip it over and use this for a top quilt. So, that being said, that's two. You can use it for sleeping bag for the warmer months, a top quilt for the warmer months if you're sleeping in a hammock, or if you're in a tent with a sleep pad, use it, as it is. Or you can unzip it all the way, like so. Uncinch, loosen that up, and you have yourself a blanket. So that's three. Sleeping bag, top quilt, and a blanket. So it is, I have used this before as a blanket. It's not too bad. So for number 4, if you have two underquilts, if you have one underquilt, and say we'll go late spring, early summer. If you have one underquilt and you have your poncho, you can, if you have the cordage, you can take this poncho and use it as an underquilt. It has little tabs right here all along. You can run short cordage through each one of these here all the way around it. Back up here, and you can loop it in and use it for an underquilt, like so, and then cinch up either end if you so wish. I have not used it for an underquilt yet, as I have 3, as you've seen. So that's 4. You got your sleeping bag, top quilt, blanket, underquilt, and the main reason being a poncho is you have a hood right here, and here's your poncho. It does have a little pocket right here in the front where the Velcro is. Right here, there's a little tiny pocket right here. And in the front, it does have a pocket to keep your hands warm. So, just for demonstration, give me 1 second. Here we are. It is quite, green. The little buckles right here. There's buckles right here. If you can reach around, one goes around you on the inside, like so. Reach around. And then there's another one here in the front. Goes around like so. And move the one in the back. Actually, this one here goes on the inside. If I'm not I'm mistaken. So, goes on the inside like that. Whoops. And like so. There. And the one that goes in behind you goes behind you on the outside. So that way you can, if I get it right here, there we go. There. Now I have armholes and I'm ready to go. So that's 5 things for just one piece of gear. You have an underquilt, you have a top quilt, you have a blanket, you have, let's see, what did I mention here? Okay, we'll go in order. We got sleeping bag, top quilt, blanket, underquilt, and the main reason being the poncho. That's 5 things with just one piece. So, I'm going to take this sucker off. Whew, hurt on my shoulder. So I'm going to take this thing off, and I'll get to another piece. Okay, everybody. I got all my underquilts and everything all put back in their little stuff sacks. Another piece of gear I have for the spring, summer, early fall is this one Tigress Featherlight top quilt. That's basically, it's between 5 and 20 degrees Celsius. I use this, I say, in the spring, summer, early fall. So, if you so wish, you can use it as part of a sleep system. You can stuff this here inside your mummy sleeping bag or your envelope sleeping bag and use it that way. It'll add a little more insulation to your sleep, and whatever. So what I typically do is I have my hammock set up. That's what I use this mostly for. So I have my hammock set up. I have my one underquilt in the summer, we'll say. Summer, late spring, I have my hammock set up with my underquilt underneath of it. My tarp all set up. I take this and I throw it, well, I don't throw it, but I put it in my hammock wherever my head end is going to be. So we'll say my head ends up here. So I'll take this and I'll just put it in my hammock like so. And I'll just take it and I'll just kind of stuff it down toward the end. That way it's, if I go to sit down in my hammock or something like that, it's not in my way. I don't have to worry about anything. So there's not really much to say about it. It is a Featherlight top quilt, so it's more so for the warmer months. You can use it, put your feet down here and from here down. It's got a foot box, so it probably goes up to, I don't know, I'm going to say up around your knee area. So what I do when I go to bed in my hammock is I take well, I kick my shoes off. I sit in my hammock and I grab this and I put my feet in the foot box first. And then I lay back, kicking my feet back in my hammock with my feet in the foot box. If I want to, I can take I can put this on, flip it around if I wanted to. So I have the open side. So I'm laying on, so I'm laying on this gray section, and I can take this and I can flip it over one way or the other. Now, if I wanted to, make it a little more secure so I know it's not going to fall off or through the night, it has these little shock cord loops right here, and it has little Velcro tabs. So we'll do this here. I open it up and I put this through the little Velcro or through the shock cord loop, and I close it shut, and I can do this all the way. It has 1, 2, it has 3. So basically up around your waistline. Yeah, up around your waistline, we'll say. Another one up around your upper torso, and one up around your head. Well, not really around your head, but around your shoulder area. So I don't typically do that, but anyways. It does have a shock cord or a drawstring here. So if you're sleeping in it with it closed up, I'll just do this here right quick. There. Now, if you're laying in it like this here, and this here side is facing down, like so, you can take this little drawstring right here, and it goes all around the top part, and you pull that, and you can cinch it closed, kinda. So yeah, you pull it like so, and it'll create not really an airtight seal, but it'll it'll bring it in closer together. So that way, any cool air or whatever brings it around your shoulders. So no cold air will get down, in the back of your neck or anything like that. So, myself, I opt not to do that. I do not close it up like this. I leave it open, and I sleep in it with the open side down on the under toward the bottom of the hammock. And I have this here from a whole cover. So there's basically only one use for this here, and that's the top quilt, really. So not much really more I can say about this one, but the temperature rating, as like I said before, it's about between 5 and 20 degrees Celsius. So it's used for the warmer months, June, July, August. So, but yeah, this here double with, let's see, used with, okay, we'll make the scenario, we'll say July. It's hot, muggy, whatever, mosquitoes are out. If you do not have a top quilt, you can make your own with a wool blanket, or you can make it with whatever you like, actually. A little DIY project, same as I've done with my wool blanket. That's all sewn up around the edges and stuff. So yeah, so enough with this one here. It's not much more to say about it. So I'll fold this up over here. Now I'm going to get into sleeping bags in just a couple minutes. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to get everything situated, and I'll be okay. Everything situated. Right here, I have another piece of One Tigris gear. This is a down sleeping bag. So, being down, you don't want to keep it in the stuff sack for ages and not use it. So, the last time I used this was back in 2019. I'm going to say no, it was not. It was this year, back in the mid, early to mid spring. Camping, lakeside location, and it was still cool at night. Got down to like 0 or something, so I used this. It was warm all night. So, pulled out. It'll take a couple minutes to loft up, but you just want to when you take it out of the stuff sack, just want to let it sit. I'm noticing a few clumps of feathers and whatnot, so I'm going to have to leave it out of the stuff sack for a little bit and let it fluff up on its own. So, anyways, you can tell it is lofting up quite nicely. So I'm going to have to hang it and everything. But nevertheless, this is the One Tigris Nordic the One Tigris Nordic Defender sleeping bag. It's good for -15. So, key features with this. It does have a foot box, as most mummy style bags do. It does have little hangers here, little hanger tabs on the bottom of the sleeping bag. For when it's not being used, you can hang it like this here, hang it upside down, so none of the feathers get all clumped up or whatever. So the zipper down here, it's got a two-way zipper. So the zipper down here, if you find you're getting too hot, you have the option of unzipping it from the top or from the top part of the foot box. So it will, give me a second here. Here we go. We'll open up, let out some of that hot air. So, or if you want to stick one leg out for a couple minutes to cool down or whatever, you can. Got back up. Now coming to the top, it's not heavy, but it's not light. So it does have a little Velcro patch up here at the top to close up so your zipper won't come undone. So it does have a nice zipper, really nice zipper. On this particular sleeping bag, on the top side, it does have a baffle right here to stop any cool air from coming in around the zipper. Also, when you're zippering up, it will not snag. Or on zipper, it won't snag either. The reason for that is they've sewn a piece of webbing on the underside of the zipper right here. This little black piece right here goes all the way from the bottom part of the zipper up down by the foot box all the way up to the very top. So if you can see that, it is very, very smart actually, because my other sleeping bags, they zipper up, it gets jammed up and everything like that, and have a heck of a time trying to get unstuck and whatnot, and you end up, I've ripped a sleeping bag trying to get it unstuck. So but no, One Tigris went ahead and did that. That's a very good innovative move on their part. It's really, really good. It's very, very well made. So coming onto the inside, it does have baffles all across the top and bottom. It is a mummy style sleeping bag. Right here, there is a baffle to go around your shoulder area. So when you're in it, you can cinch it closed, and it will form a seal around your shoulder, so no cold air getting down in by your neck or, let's say, your shoulders or anything like that. You can, if you so wish, you can cinch it closed to your likings. If not, you don't have to. so I opt not to. The hood, well, it's a hood. What can I say? Very nice one, Tigris branding on the top of the hood. Very, very nice. What else? Oh yes, here is a little pouch on the inside of the sleeping bag. It's not very big. Maybe if you have, one of those antique clamshell cell phones, that'll fit in there. If you have GoPro batteries, say if you have like 2 or 3 of them in there, 2 or 3 will fit in there. I think 3 of them will fit in. Or maybe you have an MP3 player, you like listening to music at night. Stick your MP3 player in there, your earphones stuck in your ears. Away you go. Yeah, so it'll keep your MP3 player, your batteries warm, or anything like that, and the cold will not drain them. So, let's say I use this in my hammock. I use it as a top quilt. It worked very well. So, yeah, so I'm going to zipper this up all the way. It does have, like I said, it does have the Velcro patches up here at the top. You can either have it Velcroed tight, or you can have it Velcroed loose. So, but I do like the color of this sleeping bag. The price on Amazon on this particular sleeping bag at the time when I got it, I believe it was $189.99 on Amazon.ca. Yeah, so other than that, I do like the green color. I'm gonna have to hang this up. It's starting to get balls of feathers in there. I'm gonna have to fluff it up and whatnot, loosen them all up again. But no, it does have very nice branding on it. One here on the chest, or on the hood, and one here right on the chest piece. So that's very nice. I do like that. And I do like the color. Green. It's one of my favorite camping colors. Keeps you, incognito. So, oh, one thing I did forget to mention, it does have a drawstring up here for the hood. So if you want to keep that cold air out while you're sleeping, you can cinch it up around your shoulders, as I mentioned before. Around the inside, so no cold air gets down in around your shoulders, around your neck, making you cold. Gives that, cold chill down your back. Or you can cinch up around your hood, depending on your preference. If you like sleeping like that, just keeping your nose stuck out so you can breathe. Or you can opt to not have it cinch closed at all, which that's my preference. I sleep like that. Now, if you're in a sleeping bag and you want to sleep, you like sleeping on your stomach, you can. It will keep you warm. It'll keep you warm anyways. So what some people like to do is take their elbows and put them here in the hood, keep them right. Just kind of put your elbows in, knocking stuff over here. Kind of just lay down and sleep like this. Put your head down like so. That works too. Keep your arms warm. Keep your head warm. In the wintertime, sleeping with a toque on. So, so in any event, I will get this hung up and fluffed out, and I will bring you guys back. All right, guys. I have 2 more pieces I'd like to explain to you. This one. This is a military sleeping bag. This is the inner sleeping bag, actually. So I use this quite frequently. So as you can tell, it is a military grade. It is down-filled. I'm going to assume it is duck down. this inner sleeping bag, otherwise known as the inner bivy, it is registered for -20. So it's very, very good. I've used it many times on and off my channel. It does have a very, the sucker turned around here. It does have a very good zipper in it. Oh, this sleeping bag's been issued a couple times, but it does have a very, very strong and canvas zipper web. Dang it. It's a very strong webbing, actually. I do believe it's made out of a heavy canvas. But say the zipper is very old and strong. Suck it up around here. Here we go. That's better. So we'll get this situated. But yeah, so it has been issued a few times. I don't want to show that, but there is 3 other parts to go with this. There is an outer shell. There is a hood that does go with this. There is loops up at the top to put the hood on. Goes on with buttons. I do believe it overlaps the whole outside of it. There's a loop here, and there's, I think, another loop here, another loop here. So there is 4 buttons that it does go on with. It does cover, I believe, the back side down maybe an inch or 2. I'm not 100% on that because I don't have one. But with all the components with this sleeping bag, it is rated for -40. Now I've only got a third of it or a quarter of it, so it's this here bag itself is made for -20. So I have a couple relatives that's in the military, and I was asking them, and they were telling me. So that's how I know this. But I was just kind of curious on the temperature rating of this inner itself. But yeah, I use this quite frequently, whether it's in my hammock, whether I'm in a tent, even my hot tent, because, you know, if you're one to have the fire going in your stove and you happen to fall asleep and wake up in the morning and your fire's out, you want to be nice and toasty warm. So that's good for that. I've just used this here for basically a down top quilt. But I do use this quite frequently. So with this one, I do have another one. I'll just toss this off to the side here. Now, this one here, thinking, oh, why is he showing us another one? Well, this one here is the same, but different. I'll show you how. It's rolled up a little bit differently, so I can tell the difference between the two. Now, if I was to go hammock camping this winter, which I do plan on it, I say this bag is rated for -20, so I'm not worried about getting cold in my hammock. This here is identical to the one I just showed you. This one here has been issued. I don't know because there's no tag with anybody's name on it, so I'm not sure if this was issued or not. Let's check the date on this one actually. December 1987. So it's been a few years, and this bag is still in really, really good shape. So with that being said, unzipper it. So the reason why this one here is different is this: I have this one here modified. This one here is modified to fit over a hammock. You're going to ask me, well, how? Well, I set my hammock up, no underquilts on it. I take this, I what I'll do is I'll do it this way. I'll zipper it up and I'll show you. So what I do is I have my hammock set up. I have it situated to where I want it, and I remember where it's set. I'll unhook one end of my hammock. Preferably, I'll unhook the foot end, and I'll pass it through my sleeping bag. I'll pass it through the opening. I'll unzip it a little bit so I can get my hand down in there. I'll pass it through, and I'll keep moving my sleeping bag up toward the bottom, and I'll pass it through a hole down here in the very bottom. So it'll act as a pod system. So I'll have my hammock strung pass through here. I'll have it hung back up, situated to where I want it, and then I'll take my sleeping bag and I'll flip it up around this way so the zipper's up at the top, and I'll zipper it up so I have it situated to where I want it, so I know it's going to be good. And then I'll take my underquilts and I'll put my underquilts up. So this is going to basically give me more of a warm pocket of air underneath my body to keep my body warm throughout the night. If you want to go a little further with one more step, there is loops down here on the bottom. You can put cordage through and have it attached to your hammock straps, we'll say. So I got my hammock passed through the hole here. I have my loops with cords through them attached to my carabiner on my hammock. So I'll have, just give me 1 second here. So I'll have my hammock through the hole. Have the cordage through the straps. I'll have it situated this way, and my sleeping bag won't fall down. It won't scooch around as much, and the sleeping bag will be over top my hammock, and I'll have my underclothes, and I'll be nice and warm throughout the night. So just another little DIY project for people that like to make their own gear, their own pod systems, whether it be a sleeping bag or like a wool blanket made into a mid-spring pod setup. Whatever the case may be, it's whatever everybody's preferences are. So, I hope this kind of helped everybody with, the whole, what type of gear should I use, or sleeping bags should I use for certain months of the year, or what should I use for insulation at different types of year, or anything like that. Have any questions or comments, put them down in the comment section below. I'll do the best I can to answer them. Yeah, so I'm going to get all this stuff wrapped back up, and I'm just gonna leave them on the bed for a little bit. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll do the very best I can to answer them. If you have any suggestions on some DIY gear, hey, drop them down in the comment section as well. Alright, so sorry to be repetitive, but if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, I would appreciate any suggestion that anybody has. Drop that down in the comments. If you have any questions about any of the things I have shown in the video here, feel free to ask. I'll do the best I can to answer them. Yeah, so I think that about wraps this up. So I encourage people to get out and try new things. Some DIY gear. If you're unsure about it, wait until the warmer months before you test them out. I'm not saying go make some sleeping bags or whatever it is you want to make, and go try them out and then freeze and then get all upset with yourself. But no, if you're unsure, wait until the warmer months to try them out. Excuse me. So yeah, But no, if anybody has any questions or comments or suggestions or anything, drop it down in the comments, and I'll be sure to do the best I can to answer them and reply back. So yeah, so everybody get out there, have fun, and stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.